In today's video, I'm going to show you how to knit the heart applique. These are really simple little hearts using just the garter stitch. So we're just going to be knitting each row back and forth, and it's a perfect beginner pattern because I will show you how to create the heart shape at the top. You can use any weight yarn that you want. I have made two, one in a super bulky weight yarn using an 8mm knitting needles, and a much smaller one using just a 4-weight yarn and a 5.5 pair of knitting needles. For this project, once you have your preferred yarn and corresponding needles, you'll also need a stitch holder, which we will use to create the top of the heart, a yarn needle, a pair of scissors, and then we can get started. For the tutorial, I'm going to use this sort of tweedy, bulky size yarn. It's the same size yarn as this heart here. Using a pair of 8mm knitting needles and the bulky yarn, you'll get a heart that is about 4 inches across and 4.5 inches tall. To start, you want to cast on 3 stitches. So I'm just going to cast on 3 stitches. There's 2, 1 more, 3 stitches. For rows 2 and 3, I'm counting row 1 as that cast on row. For rows 2 and 3, you just want to knit. After row 3, you should have something that looks like this. We're going to turn, and to start row 4, we're going to knit the first stitch. We're going to do an increase, so we're going to yarn over, knit the next, we're going to do another increase, so yarn over, and knit that last stitch. You should now have 5 stitches on your needle. For rows 5 through 7, we're just going to knit each stitch across. For row 8, we're going to do another increase row. So we're going to knit the first stitch, yarn over, knit the next 3, yarn over, and knit the last stitch. You should now have 7 total stitches on your needle. For rows 9 through 11, we're just going to knit each stitch all the way across. So rows 9 through 11, we're just knitting each stitch. For row 12, we are going to do another increase row. We knit the first stitch, yarn over, knit the next 5, yarn over, and then knit that last stitch for row 12. You should have 9 total stitches on your needle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. For rows 13 through 15, we're just going to knit each stitch all the way across. So rows 13 through 15, knit each stitch all the way across. After row 15, you should have something that looks like this. For row 16, we are going to do another increase row. This is the last increase row for the pattern. Knit the first stitch, yarn over, knit the next 7, when you have 1 stitch left, yarn over and knit that last stitch. You should now have 11 total stitches on your needle. For rows 17 through 19, we're just going to knit each of those stitches. So rows 17 through 19, knit each stitch all the way across. For row 20, we're going to start separating the 2 sides of our heart. So to start, we're going to knit the first 4, and then we're going to knit the next 2 together. So we want to put our needle under that second stitch and under the first stitch, get under both of them, yarn over, and then knit those 2 together. So at this point you'll have 5 stitches on your right-handed needle and 5 stitches on your left-handed needle. You're going to want to pick up your stitch holder and slide as carefully as possible. You want to slide off those stitches onto that stitch holder. And that will keep those stitches safe and they won't fall out on you as you're working this side. So you're going to turn, and here's our working yarn on this side. For rows 21 through 24, the next 4 rows, we're just going to knit back and forth. So each of these 5 stitches we're just going to knit. So for 4 rows, rows 21 through 24, just knit across. For row 25, we're going to knit the first stitch, and this is where we kind of shape that top of our heart. We're going to knit the next 3 together. So like we did with the knit 2 together, we're going to start with this 3rd stitch over and put our needle under all 3 of these stitches. It can be kind of tight, so just take your time, try to get under all 3 stitches, yarn over, and then knit those 3. And then knit the last stitch. You should have 3 stitches on your needle. Turn, row 26, the very last row, we just want to knit these 3 together. You'll have 1 stitch left on your needle. You can go ahead and cut your yarn. pull your needle up and then pull that yarn through. Kind of pull it a little bit tight, not too tight. If you pull it too tight, you'll kind of misshape the top of your heart. And that is the first little side of our heart. Now we need to work this side. To do that, we're going to unfasten our stitch holder and carefully put all of these stitches back onto a needle. We're going to do the exact same thing that we did for this side. We're going to knit each stitch for 4 rows, so rows 21 through 24. We just knit all the way across. We need to attach a working yarn, so I'm going to start as if to knit, grab an end here, and just put that over my needle, and then knit. I'm hanging on to both of those ends a little bit tightly, just so it's not as loose. I'm going to tug on the end, so the one that is not the working end, grab my working end and yarn over with that and knit. So that was row 21. I'm going to work rows 22, 23, and 24, just knitting back and forth each stitch all the way across. Once you've worked 4 rows of knitting back and forth, we're going to decrease, same as we did on the other side. Knit the first, knit the next 3 together, and knit that last stitch. You should now have 3 stitches on your needle. Turn and knit those 3 stitches together. You can now fasten off. Weave in your ends and you'll have a very simple knitted heart applique. And there you have it, a very simple knitted heart applique. These are great to sew onto other fabrics. You can also string them up into garlands. You can even make larger ones and use them as sort of a romantic Valentine's-y sort of coaster. Check out some of my other knitted appliques. I will link all of those down below, so check those out. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, happy knitting everyone. Bye!